Welcome to Wealthing Talks. I am your host, Alicia Castillo Holley, bringing you real-life conversations from Silicon Valley or somewhere around the world. We will talk about disruptors, angel investments, venture capital, and of course, family offices. Join me along with my children, their families, friends, disruptors, and investors as we explore the fascinating world of creating wealth in a completely different and authentic way. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Young Juhn, for the CEO and the founder of Wellysis. The way we met was really interesting. It's just by serendipity, because I was walking and I saw the card that has some Korean words, and my daughter-in-law is Korean, and I stopped to say hi, and it turns out that I offered to make an introduction to a company that they were already doing some, we're having some conversations, and I just felt that I knew about the company before I met you. So thank you for being here. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me on your podcast.
So let's start with, how did you get here? How did you get to do this? What happened?
Yeah, so it's a little bit long story, but so I used to be in healthcare with large enterprise like Johnson and Johnson. I worked for Johnson and Johnson for 10 years. Within their company, like Janssen, OrthoMcNeil, LifeScan, and the headquarter, and also worked for Kaiser Permanente, where we were part of the Kaiser Permanente IT department, providing innovative technology for the use for the patients and the doctors. And I think that's where I had this passion about why all this service need to be serviced at the hospital, right? Because a lot of these services can be done at the community or at home. And I do believe the true solution of a lot of these healthcare cost issues, and how to help people to care about their healthcare. And when I had that passion, I got a call from Samsung, from South Korea. And even though most of my life I lived in US, yes, I was born in South Korea, and my parents are South Korean. So I was kind of interested what they have to offer, and they wanted to get into the digital healthcare, and they needed someone like me. And I thought Samsung would be a very good bridge company to bridge between home and hospital, right? Because they are very good on the home appliance side of it, right? So most homes, at least they have some Samsung appliances, whether it's TV, refrigerator, dishwasher, whatever it might be.
All my kitchen
Yeah,
appliances are from Samsung. But that's because of my daughter-in-law, but it is true. Best quality, best
yeah,
price. It's just really, really good quality.
yeah. So I thought, there would be a very good candidate to create that bridge. So yeah, so I packed and relocated myself from California to South Korea. That was a culture shock because even though my heritage is Korean, still it was very different than what I thought
Oh,
Korea is. Yes, they were very much advanced, very technology driven, but still, the society, and there are certain things that are very much still traditional values that they carry that are very different than US. Um, yeah, so that's where I got here, and we had a lot of different healthcare projects, all the way from genomic sequencing to hospital system, diabetes management, and then finally, we were working with Samsung Semiconductor team to create a chip that can process human vital signs. And that's when we start developing this medical device to detect atrial fibrillation. And that's where I made that product, launched it, got all the clinical trials. We were ready to launch under the name of Samsung, and the executives have decided to split it off because it's not part of their core business. So that's where I am today.
And you took it. And now where are you?
So yes, so now I've been running as a CEO a company called Wellysis, and we have ECG continuous monitoring patch, and we just got FDA approval last year. So now I have office in Houston, Texas, and I also have headquarters here in South Korea in Gangnam, which is one of the most popular place because of the Gangnam Style song.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so currently right now I'm in South Korea. It's all.
Great, great. Now, explain a little bit more, what does the company do and why is it important for people in general? Do you have,
Yes, yes.
I have mine in the house. I can go and pick it up. Do you have yours around there?
Actually, yes, I do. Yeah, so this is kind of the device that we have as a package, and once you open, this is the device. So the reason why we are very different and innovative is Holter, which is the typical way of diagnosing your heart disease, has 12 leads of lines, and you have a huge transmitter that you need to carry on your belt. And people cannot wear those things more than a day. And that has been a gold standard for last 50 years. But recently, about 10 or 15 years, people found out if you wear longer, then is the detection rates is goes up, and the sweet spot is around 7 to 9 days. And there's no way those big bulky halter people will wear for 7 to 9 days. And that's where we came up with this, right? So lightweight is light as two sheets of paper, and you wear it and you forget about it for few days, then all this data being captured. Now this is very also good timing for AI, right? Because there's no way when you have 1 days of data, yes, that doctor might spend a few hours to look at your data. But when you have 7 to 14 days of data, there's no way doctor will
Yeah,
look at all, because each person beats about 120,000 bits. There's no way doctor will be able to look at all those. So we have an AI that actually go through each bit, and then provide abnormalities and normalities to the doctor so they can see the summary of it and make the decisions. So we really help, not for the patient yet, which I guess we'll get to that level later. But right now, the AI is to really support the doctors and physicians to easily detect and create their diagnosis.
that's fantastic. Is it on the market yet? Can people buy it and use it, or do they have to go through the doctor? How does it work?
Yeah, so it's not B2C, so it's a reimbursable product. So doctor has to prescribe. So if you go to see the doctors who actually do have a relationship with our partners, then yes, you'll be able to get prescribed. So we are in South Korea and also in United States. Those are two major markets. But we do also have few in Australia, few in India, few in Thailand as well.
Wow. Wow. What a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever did you ever doubt that you would be able to do this?
When the opportunity came, because I've always worked for big corporation,
Oh, okay.
Um, and so startup was kind of, well, can I really do that? And at that time, actually, my wife got sick, and she was actually diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, sorry.
And so when that notice came to me and say, hey, this is, do you want to lead this startup? I'll invest on this company, Samsung. So Samsung Venture says, okay, I'm going to invest. So go ahead and, lead this. And I had to make that decision while my wife was recovering from the, uh, surgery. And one of the things my wife told me was, hey, if you believe on this, maybe this is the really right time, right? Because when you make the decision, when it's easier to make decision, probably it's not the good one. But when it's tough time to make the decision, could be right one. And so that really motivated me. And so since then, I never doubted. Yes, in still this day, um, we had a lot of ups and downs, right? As we've been for 6 years, and we raised, seed funding, A, B, B1, B2, and so there were times where we're so short on cash flow, but yeah, I never doubted that we were gonna be successful. But success, I think, has a different notation, right? Success, is it being unicorn and making billions of dollars? Is that a success? For me, no. For me, will be I want millions of people actually use this device and being able to, prevent and, and know more about their current heart issues so that they can actually recover and get treatment easier than going through the surgery, right? So if you find AFib earlier, then all you have to do is take the drug. Versus if you wait for long enough, then you're gonna have to do open heart surgery, which is very, very dangerous. Yeah, so that's my really success. And, I'm really here, to say I'm really proud. We launched, 8 months ago in US. I have, right now, we're doing about 5,000 patients a month. And yeah, I'm really, really, proud of what we have done so far. And I think we'll do well. And that's probably success for me.
Wow. That's so interesting because people would think that you had it easy because Samsung said, here's the funding you can start, but that was just a start.
Mhm. So usually when I meet back in the day one, right, or day 1 year, people will come to me, oh, you guys are lucky, you had, $20 million from Samsung, and, it's easy to start that way. Versus some people really struggle to raise their initial seed funding.
Uh-huh. What would you
Um,
say was the hardest moment for you in the company?
yeah, I mean, when I had 30 employees and my bank account, company bank account, is almost getting to zero.
Ah,
That's the hardest time, right? I want to make sure that I can pay them, um, and I know the company will be successful. I know there are a few, partners who are waiting to use our product. I just need to get to that FDA approval, right? That's the hardest wait time, I guess, few months. But as soon as we got FDA and we got funding, we're now back on track.
oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. Let's shift back to personal. Uh, if you were to write yourself a letter when you were 20, with all that you have learned, what would you tell yourself?
Yeah, and this is something that I also talk to my son is, um, do what you are passionate about. Do things that can make differences. Yes, big corporation, I think you need to work for them a little bit to learn how the company runs, but very limited in terms of the learning from the large corporation, right? Because your roles are very much limited. Even though I had 25 years of experience before I started this startup, there are things that I never experienced of running business. Now, after 6 years, I have to say, wow, I have learned so much. And so, I encourage every people to, hey, if you have an idea, if you're passionate about, don't settle for, easy life. Thrive for those changes, the things that you want to do. That's more valuable than making steady money.
That's so interesting. And what would keep somebody with that passion and that fire? Because it's very easy to say, like you say, but once you're there, the resilience. How can we give some people the tips or the tools to say, okay, now I can do this because somebody else has done that and has taught me how to do this or that, or has given me some clues.
Yes, yes. And I think it's also people, right? So, you need to meet people who have same passion. If you're the only one, maybe you need to think, right? Is that the right one, right? Because if it's a good one, there gotta be someone out there who share your passion. And so, I was lucky, right? I was lucky to really meet a lot of people who believed in me, people who have similar passion. And not all my team share my passion. To be true, there are people who does not agree with me. However, I do have people who agree with me, who shares the passion, and they are the motivator too, right? So we talked about it, and the other thing that I believe the key to run a company startup is consistency, and being able to do patience, right? So um, you could be very much energetic sometimes, but you can continue to have that energy, right? So there are gonna be ups and downs, but you need to be very consistent in terms of how you deal with people, how you continue to push your vision. And so I think that's another areas that I learned, throughout last 6 years.
So give me an example. So what do you mean by consistency? Because I have my own interpretation of that and I apply that to my business. But what do you mean by consistency?
Yeah, I mean, one would be one day, let's say I had a potential big customer. You get really energetic and you push, and then suddenly they don't respond. They kind of, um, you know, uh, maybe they lost their interest. Then you go down, right? And then you go, oh my God, no one cares about our company. And then maybe you don't contact them again. No, it's not, right? It's you have to consistently say, hey, you are interested, we're still here, we still are interested working with you. And you wait enough and you constantly still have the same position,
Yeah.
then they will return. Eventually, they become one of your supporter or partners or customers. And that's what I meant from the consistency point of view is, that my situation doesn't change. I'm still here. My passion is still there. My product still is going where we are supposed to go. And constantly reminding them, yep, we're here, we're here. Let me know when you're ready to use our product.
That's very important because as you say, I don't think it is uh, credible to have the same level of energy all the time. We're humans, but it's just in my view, and when I manage my company, is creating habits, and it doesn't matter. I create that habit. I did have an importer once, and I would call potential clients, and I would call them every Tuesday morning, and no matter what. And I said, my goal is not to get a sale. My goal is to make a contact, because otherwise it was just very, very hard for me to break into that market. And I think a lot of people forget that, it's the consistency, and they keep that. So thank you for that. Thank you for that tip. That's a good tip. Where do you think you're going to be in 10 years?
Um, whether it's a 10 year, I tell all my teams and my wife, uh, when I used to work for big company, everyone who works for big company, they will usually say, my goal is to retire early. Right? That's usually the key thing for all, people who work for large company. And it used to be mine too. I would say, I want to retire early and do things that I like to do. I'm doing things that I like to do. So 10 year, 20 year, if I can work, I want to work. Whether it's with this company or not, I still want to pursue my passion. I still want to be working, meeting people, talking about how we can make changes to the society for better. I want to be like you, right? Being able to help other, entrepreneur
Company invest.
and support
Yeah.
them.
This is a great, great, great activity to invest in other companies. That's just fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. Now I want to wrap this up with a question that I ask people, and I never tell them that I'm going to ask this question. But when I was 13, I fell off a horse and I was in coma, and I died, but I didn't die fully. But I saw myself dead. And then 3 or 4 days later, I woke up, and I was a kid. I was 13, and ever since, I think a lot about who I am. Who am I? Sorry, who am I when I am no longer here? What is left when I'm gone? When I'm not here in time and space? Now, that is the question that I want to throw to you. Have you thought about who are you when you're no longer here? What is the essence? What do you leave? What is your legacy?
yeah. So I'm a religious person. So I do believe in heaven, and but as a fresh body, right? So there's not much that we're gonna live here. Um, but I think there is part of us who wants to leave a legacy, who wants to leave. But as a family person too, my kids, they are they will remember me. And so one of the things that I really love, one of the quotes that I found at a golf course, uh, someone who actually died, and they put a little, you know, rock with the name and quote. It says, no one remembers about what I did, but people will remember for who I am. And that has been always kind of my thought as well. Um, whether I make this company successful in IPO and make a lot of people rich, I don't think people will remember for that, right? They will remember for who I am, what type of person I was, and I want people around me who knew me to know who I was, what type of person I was, what I was trying to do when I was here. I don't want them to remember, I was trying to make a lot of money. I was trying to, make impact and here and there. No, I want them to remember, hey, Young, he was a kind of person who would do this kind of stuff. He were caring for this type of stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where my personal goal with people that I meet, people that I have relationship with.
Yeah, so that's very, very beautiful. Thank you so much. So thank you for sharing with us. I am very excited about your company. I've seen you for, I think, probably 4 years. And
About that, yeah.
I'm very excited that you moved to Houston. I think I contacted you for whatever reason, and you had just moved.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the way you continue growing the product. I like to say that I did try it, and it worked. My dad would have, his life would have been much easier if your product existed. He had other health issues. But I really, really like what you're doing, and not only what you're doing, but the way you're doing it. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing that and for being a role model for our listeners.
For inviting me and have chance to share, my life stories.
So thank you for joining us. This is a typical example of a corporate executive that finds a opportunity. Actually, the opportunity finds himself, uh, finds him, and it sort of turned out in a very interesting way. I like his approach to creating value and serving others and using his skills to make life easier for patients. And besides, we've just crossed paths so many times in so many different ways. So I hope you enjoy it. I was talking to him after our podcast, and we were reflecting that both of us have worked for corporations. When you work for a corporation, they have processes in place, they have systems in place, they are efficient, even though you're a small bit of a large group. But it sort of helps you become a better entrepreneur and better small business owner or founder, because you are used to creating processes and delegating. So it was a very interesting observation. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Yours in Wealthing, Alicia Castillo Holley. Bye bye. Thanks for tuning in to our Wealthing Talks. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. To stay connected, visit us at wealthing.com. This is Alicia Castillo Holley, your host, and until next time, yours in Wealthing.